to see. And as we are every Tuesday, we are joined by Dr. Jeff Pierce of the Michigan Sport and Spine Center. You guys are familiar with his work. And Dr. Pierce, as always, appreciate you. And first off, you're a football fan. Jared Goff locked up. Got to get your take on it. Can he carry all that money physically?
Physically, he's going to need some assistance. I think Woodward Sports should be the first volunteer on that one.
I would agree.
For the new Detroit sports station.
Is his back going to hold? Is his lower back capable of carrying around that wallet? What long-term, from having a wallet that fat to sit on when you're driving or walking around town, is he going to hold up, Dr. Pierce?
You know what? Young people today don't really put a wallet anymore, so he's going to get over that part. I think it's all in Bitcoin transfer, so he's just got to carry his phone around. No, I mean, hats off to him. I mean, God, that's a huge contract. I don't know how surprised you guys were, but I was like blown away. And then I, talked it with my son. He goes, all these guys are getting that kind of money, so he's right in there. But what is he, number 2 right now?
In terms of AAV, yes.
Yep. Behind Deshaun Watson.
Yep.
That's crazy. So he's got to do a lot of prevention work. He's got to be healthy, prove that he earns all that money. So I would highly recommend him start working with his trainer and staying in shape and doing that cross training and sports-specific training for him.
Wheelbarrow lifting and whatnot, all of that stuff. No, but Dr. Pierce, as always, do appreciate your time. And Spencer had a question. And we're going to get back into the Jared Goff stuff coming up in just a couple of minutes. Don't worry about that. But Spencer kind of had a question. His New York Knicks the ship is taking on water right now.
Yes, it is.
And, I guess this is relevant to football because we're seeing this now in like the week 18, the week 17 and stuff like that. The becoming age-old load management discussion. Because the New York Knicks and Tom Thibodeau is a guy that you play for him.
Right.
And you play a lot.
That angry face on the sideline.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But the load management thing, Dr. Pierce, the Knicks are kind of...
They're banged up.
They're crumbling right now, physically.
Yeah, I mean, that just shows you the importance of, do we want to get into the load management and all that? Would they have done better if they sat these guys a little bit more? Crystal ball, hindsight, is great, but it's what these guys are doing to prepare. The more mature players understand that they have to prepare. They know their body, they know the nutritional, they know how to spend extra time with the trainer, how to spend extra time, outside the locker room doing things they should be doing to stay healthy. Are the Knicks that way? I don't know them that well. I just know, I always refer back to the Red Wing days where we were doing that when we had days off. These guys there wasn't load management, but there was I need to train, I need to spend more time. The young players are always resistant, less than they were before, but that's kind of what you're seeing right now. I mean, they have a few unfortunate injuries. I mean,
right.
Brunson, he's like a horse. I don't think load management would have made a difference. This guy's going through walls anyhow, but he's just the wear and tear of the season. You're seeing it. The classic on ESPN, his jumper was short, things like that. That's all that I just don't feel 100% with my body. Your normal mechanics when you're feeling good and strong within your legs and your fatigue and his knee, his quad.
I can't keep him straight. What's the deal with Brunson?
He's got 3 different injuries right now.
Yeah.
His foot, his calf, his hamstring. But it's all that mechanics that we talk about, right? When one thing goes out, when you're pushing it 110% like he does in a game, something else is gonna go out. It's the mechanics of what he's doing. His mind is I still want to do this, but his body's resisting, and that's where these little adding up injuries are starting to happen. You got something for me?
No, I was just gonna say, is there, how back in the day, the groin injury and stuff like that, where that's really, I would say, the one with the core in hockey where we had to really adjust it. Is basketball the same way with all these guys? They're coming in a lot younger. So, is it something to do with how we'd always talk about that full development, or is it just preparation to these injuries?
It's preparation and maintenance.
It's more the maintenance.
You take the different sport. We go sport specific. There's a lot of jumping. There's a lot of start and stopping. In hockey, you have a less resistance of that start-stop because you're gliding. There's less mechanics, less forces in some reasons. For basketball, It's all about that explosiveness. You can argue hockey has explosive, so I don't want to.
No, but I guess the whole thing is that until we came into that problem of everybody having core sport hernia, is basketball these days sort of like that as we get down to where the original question about load management or the time away or recovery and stuff is just as important, if not, it seems more important for whether you're gonna let a guy play or give him the time off. It's not like being lazy. That's the whole thing, is that you think time off is being lazy. No, it's putting you in the best possible position. Because how many back in our day, guys wouldn't practice, but they do treatment and they'd be in the gym, they'd be doing different stuff to try to.
So DMAC, you had load management. It was
our load management come playoff time really was Scotty, dude, I don't care what you do to get ready for 7:30, but guys had to learn, okay, I got to get in there and I got to get some core work done for an hour at 11 a.m. Right. To be able to release that. Like, I'm just saying, is this something that we're learning? Because in basketball, load management is the term. And it's almost like if you don't use load management, then you're not going to be successful. Is that fair statement, Neil?
No, I mean, you have to, right? Because that's what this is now. And I would say, it's like the intensity of the game. People talk about faster, stronger, all that stuff. Has the intensity of the game picked up?
Yes.
And I think that's where it is. Like, people are like, well, we never took days off back then. But to be fair, like, your games weren't as demanding back then as they are now.
I mean, I'm not dropping my names and stuff, but I've had these conversations with the guys, like with Dr. J and Gervin, and we talk about that. We talk about the game is different, the game is stronger. And then there's an argument each way, because these guys are like, the fouls everything. I get hammered in the face and the chest going through the middle all the time. We were more prone to injuries back then. We just weren't respected.
Right.
The business wasn't there. But when you start talking about these guys are bigger, they're stronger, they're more fit, they're coming in at a faster pace. You can argue both ways. But right now, I think overall, what the point you're trying to make is the game bigger and faster? I think yes. Football for sure. Basketball, just, I don't know. Like, you look at it and you sit and you talk with the alumni guys. They're like, if I was playing now, I'd have 50 points every night. You know how Gervin and Dr. J talk. I mean, Clyde's in there. They're like, yeah, these touch fouls, you can't be touched. I mean, I was hammered and I didn't get a call. Right. I mean, Gervin says his style developed because he was a skinny, tall guy that, one elbow would put him on the ground. He had to avoid that and glide through. Where now it's like nobody would touch him, let alone the three-point line. He said he would dominate. But yes, the answer is the load management is there because you want people there at the end. New York is a great example of the coach pushing them. I think Brunson he wouldn't have sat out anyhow. He's got that mentality.
Right. But
some of the other guys, they have unfortunate injuries. It happens. I don't think it's wear and tear. I think it's their mechanics. They're going full steam and, going through this stuff. I mean, look at what's his face on Dallas. Luka. Luka is like on one toe right now, walking through and still scoring. What do you have, 30 yesterday in a loss? But, but they were fatigued at the end. You saw him going through the lane. He didn't even get fouled. He basically wore out going through. So there's all that. I mean, I don't want to discredit, but I think basketball needs to take a step back and, what are we doing? What's the message we're giving? What is the true science behind it? Resting a LeBron or something like that, that makes sense. I mean, resting these guys, there's a lot of games. And there's a lot of wear and tear on them. There's mileage on these older guys. That's why the two young guys, that's why OKC's in there. They got young energy, and Minnesota's pretty young too. So I don't know who's going to make it to the end here.
No, I mean, Denver's right back in the driver's seat. They're dead, and then all of a sudden they're right back in the driver's seat. You're talking to Dr. Jeff Pierce of the Michigan Sports and Spine Center. Go to michigansportandspine.com. If you're banged up, you got that old guy, low back pain, michigansportandspine.com. Make sure you check out the website. They can get you squared away. They got They got D-Mac squared away. They can get you squared away as well. But Dr. Pierce, lastly here, the Jared Goff thing, though. Obviously it's a big topic of the day.
Right.
He's turning 30 now. What change? And you're not involved. Again, you're guesstimating. You're speculating.
We're a step away.
What changes? What changes for him as you turn to 30, the NFL, the quarterback spot? Is there anything that changes? Is it business as usual? What are the focus points for him now?
The focus points are what I said before, sarcastically, but in a serious tone. If he's working with me or I'm his advisor, or the Lions advisor, you got to make sure he's healthy because you've really put him as the franchise tag right now. He's got he's not a big, strong guy. He's not as agile as he could be. I would start working on that kind of stuff. When you hit 30, your world changes. I mean, for older people that have hit 30, they know 40 gets worse. But every decade, every year, you lose something. But what does happen on guys that are vested, truly vested, which I think he will be now, he's going to get he should have a personal trainer. He should look at where his weaknesses are, have a full body evaluation, get a little bit stronger, get in the rotational muscles, get that not CrossFit, but, sports specific strength, but also cross fitness training, meaning don't just have your upper body and your arm the strongest part of you, but you want your legs, like we talked about ankles. We talked about foot strength.
I've been doing that, by the way.
I've
been doing it.
My first question is going to be, do you feel different?
What am I? I'm about a week in. I haven't stopped to see if I feel different or not.
Well, it's just you should start feeling a little bit lighter on your feet, a little bit stronger in your foot, especially when you start running.
Yeah, runs seemed easier this week. I'm not going to lie about that. Like the runs seemed easier.
Just to give me some credibility.
No, I'm saying though they have. I mean, it could be because I'm such a finely tuned specimen. I think
right.
It's
I mean,
more
there may be a
anything.
small margin that I can improve you, but like with some guys, it's a big margin.
Yeah. No.
But, but that's important for him. His foot speed, his mechanics, and how he's doing. When you hit 30, something mentally happens. We're all over 30. It happened to me. Probably 40 was a little bit worse, but it's like you just feel a step slower. You feel like I got to do more. I can't just live on my youth anymore. Like I tell a lot of people, a lot of friends, the better your infrastructure is, meaning your full body infrastructure, your temple, the better you're going to be able to handle the decades as they go. Because like I just had this talk with my daughters, like they're in their 20s. I'm like, you guys don't take it for granted. The more work you're doing now is going to pay off 20, 30 years from now. Like doing the toe-ups now, it's just prevention work. It's foot speed. Like my assistant just showed me this TikTok of sports specific. We're getting to such a science where they're doing these ungodly ball jumps, the big therapeutic balls. They're jumping like, I always remember when LeBron was kneeling on one and doing press-ups, and to hold that balance, the core musculature is crazy. Yeah. That's going to be, we did the toe-ups. That's your next move, is we're going to get you on the ball.
Let's slow down. Let's crawl before we walk.
Yeah, but, we got to get you sitting on a therapeutic ball before.
Easy guy. All right.
But it's like, I think we'll start pulling some videos to show, and we can start talking about that. Cool. But some sports-specific for him, I think he's dedicated to Detroit. I think, he felt wrong coming here. I think he's got something to prove. I think he will go full tilt, I'm hoping. And he can definitely afford a personal trainer now and a full-time masseuse and all that.
And if not, hit up MichiganSportandSpine.com, Jared. But Dr. Pierce, we appreciate your time every week, my friend. Thank you.
All right, take care, guys.
Absolutely. There he is, Dr. Jeff Pierce, everybody. Michigan Sport and Spine Centers.